set too high an expectation.
Oops, lost a
Oops.
leg.
Oh, not that again.
He picked it up wrong.
Oh, that's why.
Again, not a leg to stand on.
Where's the props department?
Well, once again, Sean, we'd all be lost without you.
Just started.
It's a quiet morning in a town covered with darkness. Summer gathers in the weather. The breathing of the world is long and warm and slow. Douglas Spaulding, age 12, awakens. There comes a sweet scent. The smell of freedom and of living. It's summer. A whole summer ahead to cross off the calendar, day by single wonderful day. Dandelions. Dandelions. A pride of lions in the yard. You stare, they'll burn a hole right into your eye. I'll pick thousands of dandelions for Grandpa. He pays a dime for every bag. I'll deliver him into the dark cellar which glows with their arrival. The wine press stands open and cold. Empty ketchup bottles cleaned on the shelf. The golden liquid runs and then gushes from the spout. The essence of a fine, fair month of June flows down to be cropped, skimmed of the ferment, boiled in clean ketchup shakers, and then raked in sparkling rose down in the cellar gloom, and labeled. This is going to be a summer of unguessed wonders, and I want it all labeled. So that anytime I want to, I can tip down to the cellar, hold summer in my hand so I can remember what happened on every day of the summer. Forever. I need new sneakers, Mr. Sanderson. Can I see those Royal Crown Lightfoot tennis shoes? What? No, I don't want credit. I got something better than credit. I'll give you the money I have, but I'll still owe you $1. But as soon as I get those shoes on, do you know what happens? Bang! I start to deliver your packages. I pick up packages. I get you coffee. I gotta go out and burn the trash. I run to the post office. You'll see 12 of me in and out of the store every minute. You stay in the nice, cool store. Well, I'm jumping all over town, but it's not me. Really, it's the shoes. They go like mad, cutting down corners. There they go. Whoosh. Thanks, Mr. Sanderson. Wow, they feel great. They make me feel alive. I'm on my way. My friends and I pay a visit to old Colonel Freely. He laughs when he's asked to tell one of his stories. Beware, he says. Old men lie in wait for people to ask them to talk, and then they rattle on forever. All the stories he tells. The way it was 50 years ago, how the town has grown. He talks about the Great War in Europe. How war's not a winning thing. War's just losing and sadness and nothing good at the end of it all. Someone calls him a time machine and he laughs and says, "You're right. Why didn't I think of that? By God, I am a time machine." And we go aboard many times that summer. The Colonel, well, he's been down the track before and he knows. And now here we come along the same track, but further along. We need the old Colonel to shove us along and say, "Look alive," so we remember every second. So when kids come around, when we are old, we can do for them what he once did for us. We've got to go far traveling with him as often as we can. Far traveling. It does sound lonely. Summer days pass, each one's quicker than the last. People shouldn't be in such a hurry. People shouldn't run. Because if you run, time runs. You yell and scream and race and roll and tumble, and all of a sudden, the sun is gone and the whistle is blowing. John, what'd you say? What'd you say? You said you're moving away? Why, John? I just realized this summer that I was alive and now things are happening too fast. I thought I thought everything would go on forever. John, you can't. Okay, let's play a game of statues. All right, I'm it. You start running. Statues, freeze! John, no, don't you move so much as an eyelash. I absolutely command you to stay exactly where you are for the next 3 hours. Freeze, John, it's the game. John! Come back. John, you're my enemy, you hear me? You're no friend of mine. Don't come back now or ever. You hear me? It's all off. Now you're dirt, John. You hear me? John? You can't depend on things. Because like machines, they fall apart, or rust, or run down. Like sneakers, you can run so far and so fast, and then the earth's got you again. Like wine presses, big as they always run out of dandelions and squeeze to a halt. You can't depend on things, and you can't depend on people. Well, quite suddenly, summer's over. School lies straight ahead, and down in the cellar, Grandpa's pulling up the last of the wine. I look at the summer we've shelved there, glimmering motionless streams. The bottles of dandelion wine, numbered from 1 to 90 odd, they're in ketchup bottles. Burning in the cellar twilight, one for each living day of summer. There's the first day of summer. There's the new tennis shoe day. That's the day I found out I was alive. It should be a bit brighter. There's the day Colonel Freely's time machine stopped and he sank 6 feet into the earth. There's the day John Huff fell off the edge of the world. Seems like it ought to be different. Just a speck maybe, but it's just like all the others. As I climb the stairs from the golden cellar to the real world outside, a spider web breaks across my face. A single invisible line on the air touches my brow and snaps without a sound. I'm alive. I am alive. And the people and the world and all of time are in me and are me, never to fade away. Never to die, but to go on, as Colonel Freely goes on, as John Huff goes on. Never to die, but to go on forever. And so thinking I sleep, putting an end to summer. And sleeping, I put an end to life.
I remember when he was a Cub Scout. His troop went on an overnight hike to Burnett Woods. We got him a knapsack and a mess kit and a canteen. He looked like he was going to hike cross country. It rained that night, so we drove over in the middle of the storm to make him come home. And he didn't want to. He said we were embarrassing him. But we brought him home anyway, and he was sick for a week. The last time I was alone with him before he left, it was a warm night. The stars were out. He said to me, "I don't want any teary goodbyes. If you cry, I'll cry, and I don't want to do that." I reminded him, "I don't cry." And he said, "Just don't." He looks just like he did when he was a little boy. The other night I got out all these old photographs. I haven't looked at them in years. And I sorted through them, putting them in order. If there were a photograph for every day of his life, then I might feel he was almost 19. But 100 or so photographs make 19 years feel like a week and a half. It's not really fair. I found my two favorites. One was when he was 8 or 9. He's wearing a cowboy suit. He has on a 10-gallon hat and boots and the loudest cap gun on the block. The second photograph is when he was just a baby, 4 or 5. He's standing in his flannel pajamas holding this giraffe that we brought him back from Florida. It was yellow oilcloth and had orange spots. He kept it for years. His oldest living possession, he said. He said he was not giving it up. It's much more difficult trying to give up people than it is giraffes, especially sons. I'm not very good at it. I wish I could find that drawing that he made of the tree, but I can't remember what I did with it. You know, when it comes, you think it's going to be a terrible surprise, that you'll tear it up or wad it into a little ball, that you'll scream or go insane or at least cry. But you don't. You know what's happened before the telegram arrives, because something in your mind heard the clicks of that teletype machine addressing you as dear Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so and adding its deep felt regrets before you even see the paper. I went out in the backyard and I sat down in the grass under the tree. It's been years since I sat in the grass. So I just sat there. And I thought back to when we had this Irish setter. Her name was Ginger. It's funny to be thinking about an old dog at a time like that, but that's what I was thinking. I remembered how I used to pretend that I was crying because it would upset her. She'd run over and she'd jump on me, and she was a very big dog. And she'd whine and she'd lick my face because she really thought I was crying. Then I would burst out laughing and push her away. One day she got sick and I had to take her to the vet, and he said she'd have to stay there. And to take her upstairs where he had a room full of cages where he kept the dogs. Well, Ginger was so sick she could hardly get up the stairs, so I tried to help her, but I think all my pushing and pulling probably hurt her more. When we got into the room, all the other dogs started barking and jumping around, and it scared Ginger, and she tried to run away, but she could hardly move, so she just cried. So I led her into her cage, and then I just ran down those stairs. I was so glad to be away from there. I never saw Ginger again. She died, and I guess they tossed her into the incinerator somewhere. I never cried until that day in the backyard. And I don't even know if I was crying for Ginger or my son.